Thank you for joining me for this tutorial focused on managing users in the ArtelWare application. I have a lot of great information to share with you, so let's go ahead and get started. Before we begin exploring how to manage users in ArtelWare, there are a couple of important items to note. This tutorial outlines the user management for an ArtelWare installation that does not have the Windows Active Directory function enabled. If you are using the Windows Active Directory feature, please consult with your IT team for all user management. Secondly, only individuals that have permissions to create users will be able to perform the tasks outlined in this video. We'll talk about how to identify who has those specific permissions and what permission set they'll need. Lastly, we need to answer the question of who needs to be created as a user in ArtelWare. There's a two-part answer to that question. The first part of the answer is anyone using the ArtelWare application should be created as a user. And secondly, individuals who are listed as owners of devices, such as pipettes, liquid handlers, or instruments, should also be created as users. Prior to creating all of your users, the first thing that you'll want to do within the ArtelWare application is to confirm that you have the proper user groups with the correct permissions assigned to those user groups. User groups are located in the administration section of the software, in the Groups area. Now, by default, ArtelWare comes with these 6 default user groups. And then you can navigate and see the members and the permissions of each respective user group by clicking on the tabs on the right-hand side. So for example, if we click on the Permissions tab for the Administrators user group, you'll see that administrators, they have permissions to perform every task within the software. If I click on the Operators user group, you'll see that operators have permissions to perform calibrations and verifications. If I click on the Pipette Owners user group, you'll notice that they don't have any permissions within ArtelWare at all. Pipette owners, as well as liquid handler owners, their role within the software is to receive automated emails from the software indicating that a device is due for verification or calibration, or simply to be listed as owners that are associated with that particular device, which might be a pipette or an automated liquid handler. You can edit these user groups by simply clicking on the user group you wish to add permissions to, and then clicking on the Edit icon, which is this little pencil to paper icon at the top center left of the screen. From there, you can highlight the permission that you wish to add, and then click on this single right side caret to add the permission. Or if you wish to add all the permissions, you can click on the double right side caret. Selecting a permission that's within a group, and then clicking on the single left side caret or clicking on the double left side caret will help you manage all of the permissions that are already in that particular group. Once you've confirmed that all of your user groups have the proper permissions, you're all set to go ahead and start adding your users. So let's go ahead and navigate back to the home screen. Now, there's 2 different ways to create users within the software. The first way is to use the Get Started bar by clicking on this Add User shortcut. The second way is to navigate to the Administration section of the software. Make sure that you're on the User section, and then click on the plus sign to create the new user. In this particular video, I'm going to go ahead and use the Add User icon that's on the Get Started bar. That's really the easiest way. So I'll go ahead and click on Add User, and from here I'll go ahead and add the username. So for today, I'm going to call this user Operator 1. I'm going to enter in a test email address, but normally you would enter in a valid email address. Now the email address is entered in the event that you have the email functionality of ArtelWare software enabled. Even if you don't choose to be using the email functionality, an email address is still required. One thing to note as you're navigating through ArtelWare is anytime that you see a red asterisk next to a field, that means that that's a required field. So it's important to make sure that you complete those fields as appropriate. Now that I've added the full name and email address of this user, I need to add them to an initial group. I'll click on the group drop-down and select the operators group in this case, as this is Operator 1. Next, what I'll need to do is enter the username that I want this user to use when they're logging into the software. You'll notice that there's a box that says account already exists on database server. That's reserved for when you're transferring the ArtelWare application from one computer to another. And in this case, it's not applicable because this user doesn't exist yet. The next thing that the software wants us to do is enter the password. So I'll go ahead and enter a temporary password because when this user goes to log in a little bit later on, they'll be asked to change that temporary password to a more permanent password that they'd like to use. I can click on the I icon to reveal the temporary password that I've assigned. And then if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there are additional fields that are not required, such as title, department, and phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and select Save and commit this user to the database. You now see that Operator 1 is officially added as a user to the software. Also within this screen are some additional icons just for management. There's a filtering icon, a refresh icon, a clone icon, and then over to the far right, there's a deactivate icon as well as another refresh icon. And so that refresh icon that you see over in the far right just refreshes the screen for this specific user. Let's say that you wanted to clone a couple of users. So I want to clone a user based on Operator 1, which is this user that I just created. So I'll go ahead and make sure that Operator 1 is selected, and I'll select the clone icon. And from there, I'll go ahead and make the edits to the screen that I want. Okay, so now you can see that I have Operator 1 and Operator 2 listed on the screen. Now let's say that a user has changed their role or has left the organization, and you want to deactivate them as a user within the software. All of the user management, again, happens in the administration section of the software. So we'll go ahead and navigate to the administration section. And let's say that I want to deactivate Operator 2 because Operator 2 has left the organization. I can select the Operator 2 entry and then select on the Deactivate Selected User icon. The software will prompt for a question of, do I want to deactivate this user? And I'll select yes. Then you'll receive a message indicating that all sessions for that user have been terminated. Now, let's say the user changed roles again, and they came back to the organization, and you need to add them again. You can go to the filter icon and select Show Inactive Items. You can select the inactive user, and then you can click on this Activate Selected User icon to reactivate them. Now, one special thing to note about deactivating users. If a user is associated with a device or with an instrument, the software is going to let you know that, and you'll need to reassign that device or that instrument to a different user/owner. So let's take a look and see what that might look like. So for example, if I select this April 2024 user, and I click on the Deactivate Selected User icon, and I click on Yes, the software then shows a message indicating that April 2024, this user cannot be deactivated because they're associated with an instrument or a pipette that has them listed as an owner. So I'll need to go and resolve that. Let's go and take a quick look and see what items have been assigned to the April 2024 user and get those reassigned. First, we'll head to the configuration icon that's located on the left side navigation panel. From there, let's go ahead and navigate to the pipettes section. Once here, we have a filter icon that can quickly help us identify which of these devices have the April 2024 owner. Let's go ahead and filter on owner. And let's go ahead and start typing in our username. From here, we can see that this particular pipette has the owner of April 2024 assigned to it. Let's go ahead and click on the edit icon, and let's go ahead and click on the ellipsis, and let's assign a new owner. From here, let's go ahead and navigate to the instrument screen, and click on the filter icon, and let's go ahead and search for that April user. We can see that this PCS instrument has that April 2024 user listed as their owner. Let's go ahead and edit this instrument entry. Click on the ellipsis, and let's reassign this instrument to a different owner, and we'll click Save. We'll go ahead and click on this Remove Filter icon, so that way we can see our entire instruments list. Last but not least, if you're using the MBS system, you'll also want to check the Liquid Handlers list. Yet again, click on the filter, search for the April owner, and we can see that there are not any entries that are attached to that April 2024 user. Let's go ahead and clear the filter. So I wanted to make sure that if you see that message, that means that you need to go to your device or instruments list and search for instruments or devices that this user might be associated with and reassign different owners to those devices. And then you'll be able to deactivate that user. Okay, that concludes our brief tutorial. Do you have additional questions? Please contact us at 1-800-225-4034 option 3 or at support@aicompanies.com. Thank you.